Take a break with teachersub.com. Quality video lessons ready when you need them.
Hello, my Cursive crew, and welcome back to Master Cursive with Colors, the brightest way to learn cursive writing. I'm Miss Jackie, and I'm thrilled to help you loopity-doopity through some cursive letters today. In this lesson, you will learn how to connect the letters G, Q, and O. This is exciting stuff. This is where the magic happens. This is getting down to brass tacks, the nitty-gritty. Now remember, cursive letters are connecting like holding hands, and that connection makes cursive so special and smooth. But before we can start, let's make sure you have all the supplies that you will need today. You need one dark marker. I'll be using blue. You can use any color you'd like. Finally, you'll need workbook page 12 from your Master Cursive with Colors workbook. If you need to gather your supplies, pause the video and go get them. I'll wait here until you get back. The next stop on the Learning Express, connecting G, Q, and O. Here we go. Today is one of the most exciting days of the lessons because it is the day we learn to connect the letters that we have learned. And in lesson 2, we are learning the letters G, Q, and O. Here I have partially formed G and O, and I'm going to turn this into a Q. So what I was hoping for you to understand is that all letters have these connectors, and they also start actually with a connector. So they come up and over, and then they come back around and they close. And for a G, we come down with the tail and turn left, and then our tail actually becomes the next letter. And then we come back around. Now I could turn this into an O by continuing up with a loop, or I can come back down and turn right, close that loop, and then pull out with a tail. So today we are going to be connecting G and Q and O. Exciting! The supplies needed for today's lesson are workbook page 12 and a dark marker. Today I'm going to use a red marker. Let's place our name and think about what the directions say to us. So please take your marker and follow with me. I'm going to write my name on the line. My name is Miss Jackie. You write the name given to you. And here it says copy the sample and then write a certain amount of times. You probably are starting to notice that when we connect letters together, they take up more space than just one letter. So there's less space to write them on our worksheet. So for today, it looks like every pair that we can write maybe 3 times each. So let's write that in our directions, 3 times each. All right, let's continue with an I do. I'm going to change this to I do because I'd like you to listen and look like an owl while I explain how G connects to Q. So putting my marker at the very beginning of the baseline, I'm going to go up and over to 2 o'clock, close it, come down and turn to the left for G, and my tail then begins the formation of the Q, which goes up and around down below the baseline, and I turn right, close, and then pull out with a tail. Notice all of that connecting. I'm going to ask you to do with me. But before we go over this copy sample, I'm going to ask you to take your marker and make a left turn at the G and a right turn arrow at the Q. This will remind us which way to turn. Did you do that? We're ready to go. I will trace with you once again. We're going to go up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, close, come down below the baseline for the tail, turn left, and go right up to 2 o'clock for our next letter. Come down below the baseline, turn right, close, and pull out with a connector. That is a lot. You are doing great. Take your marker and let's try all on our own. And remember, left for G, right for Q. Up to the midline, turn to 2 o'clock, back around, close, come below the baseline and turn left. and my tail is going to go right into a curve to 2 o'clock, close. I'm going to come down and turn right to close my Q, and then make a connecting tail. Nice work. Let's do one more together. These are tough. We're going to ramp up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, close, come down and turn to the left, and then go right into my next letter, 2 o'clock, loop around, come below the baseline, turn to the right, close that loop, and pull out with a happy tail. I'm going to ask you to do the very last one on your own. How'd you do? Did you turn left for G's tail and right for Q's? That's where a lot of mistakes happen. Now we're going to look here, and I can't choose my copy sample, but I need to pick the best combo that I made, and I think my last one. It took me a while to get it, but I think it's my last one. Is it your first, your second, or your third try? Okay, we're going to move back to an I do. I'm going to tilt my paper, and now we're going to be making the letter G connecting into an O. And that actually makes a word that most of you would know, which is the word go. I'm going to remind myself that G turns to the left. Listen while I work my way through the connection of G to O. Up and over to 2 o'clock, close, I go below the baseline, loop to the left, I go up right into the O, over to 2 o'clock, back around, and loop down. Please try that with me. Here we go. I will trace it once again. Did you make your left turn arrow? Good. Ready? Up and over to 2 o'clock, close, back around, down for a left turning loop, over to 2 o'clock, back around, down for the top loop. Let's try it without tracing. Here we go. Up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, close. Come down below the baseline, turn left, and as you're forming your tail, remember that's the beginning of the next letter O. I go over to 2 o'clock, I close it, I go up to 12 o'clock, and I make a curly loop. I wrote the word go. Let's do one more together, and then I will let you go all on your own. Curve over to 2 o'clock, make a loop, form the O, up to 12 o'clock, and pull under for a loop. Please finish the last one all on your own. How did you do? When I look at all of my efforts, I think my last one is my best one. Again. You never know. All right, we are now ready to move to the next row. It will be an I do while I explain. This is the letter Q, because it turned to the right, into O. This is not a real word, but it is 2 letters connecting properly. Q turns to the right. Watch how I connect both of these letters. I start on the baseline, up and over to 2 o'clock. I come down, turn right, close, and where my little happy tail connector comes out, I start right into my O, which is over to 2 o'clock, and down and looping at 12 o'clock. Very good. Please take your marker and let's trace the sample together. Up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, down below the baseline, turn right, come out with a connector, but then go right into your O, over to 2 o'clock, up to 12 o'clock, down for a loop. Let's put your marker on the first dot and follow with me. Up and over to 2 o'clock, right at the midline, back around, close, come down below, turn right, close that loop, come out with a little happy tail connector that starts the next letter O. Over to 2 o'clock, back around up to 12 o'clock, and pull down for a loop. Well done. One more together. Up and over to 2 o'clock, close, turn right for the tail, pull the little happy tail out over to 2 o'clock, top, and make the curly Q. Last one. Please do it on your own. I will work while you work. How did you do? Each one of mine looks very different. This one is mighty big. If I had to pick a best one, I think it's my last one. Again, it takes a little bit of doing. And if you have only made Q's in the whole row, you did a great job. If you only made G's in the G row, you did a good job. And if you made your G's and your Q's the proper way in this row, you are on your way. Now, we are ready for the very last row. I would like you to listen while we connect 3 letters together, a G, a Q, and an O. I'm going to remind myself that G turns to the left, and Q turns to the right, and O comes up to 12 o'clock. Now, when you start writing more than 2 letters together, you're going to need to also, while you're pushing your fingers and your hand, you're also going to need to slide as you go, because you don't pick up and move. You kind of slide as you go. And that is a unique challenge to cursive. You need to not push so hard that you can't move and so light that you can't control. So it's this happy middle. I'm going to come here and show you how all 3 are connected. I'm going to start at the baseline, up and over, down. I'm going to come up and over, down and turn right, over to 2 o'clock, up, and make a loop. I had a little hard time down here on the G tail, but I'm going to do that again with you. So I will give it a second try. Are you ready? Make your left turn for G, your right turn for Q, and put a little 12 right at the top of the O to help remind you. Here we go. Let's go up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, come down with the tail and turn left, up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, down and turn right, close that loop, and make a little happy tail that will begin the O. And there we go. And now we're going to try to write G, Q, O without confusing them. Let's go. Up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, down and turn to the left, come through, up and over to 2 o'clock, back around, go down below the baseline, turn right, close that loop, come out with the happy tail that will start the O, go up to 12 o'clock, and then loop around. Well done. One more together. G into Q into O. And for the very last one, I'd like you to do that on your own. How did you do on your very last row? I have to say I am quite impressed with my G's and my Q's, and I often confuse them from time to time. And I have to say I was so proud of myself for not confusing them at all. And then on my very last one, I did confuse it. I made a Q and then a G into my O. It happens. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to just accept that sometimes I make mistakes and I learn from them. And that's all part of becoming better at a skill that you may not have known before. when I choose the very best one. I like how I formed all these letters. I don't like that I didn't make it a G and a Q, so I'm going to pick the one that I did make a G and then a Q and then an O, and not the one where I made a Q and a G. Which one was your best?
Bravo! You gave it your best today, and it shows. What a superstar you are. Learning to connect letters truly puts you on the path to be a cursive writer. Well done. You can keep practicing how to connect G, Q, and O by printing extra pages of workbook page 12 and working on your own until you feel confident with each letter's proper formation and connection. Now let's keep this learning train going by liking and subscribing to our channel. And we appreciate if you share it with others who also love cursive. I'll see you at the next lesson. And don't forget, you can find everything you need and more at teachersub.com.